So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So far, we have discussed the three basic questions that normally arise, or maybe it arose within me while I started a serious study or serious reading of the Bhagavad Gita. Well, after that, the second thing comes. Well, these are the three questions, and that have been answered, or maybe I have tried to logically answer, maybe with some spiritual touch. And the next question is what we need and demand from the Gita. What is the mentality, what should be our mentality while approaching a scripture like the Bhagavad Gita? Well, by now we have discussed that the Bhagavad Gita is considered to be a divine gospel, a divine knowledge, this Uttamam Jnanam. That's all right. Now, with what sort of mentality, with what sort of attitude are we going to approach a scripture like this? Well, in the world there is no dearth of scriptures. Many scriptures in many languages, in many religions. There are many religions, and every religion has its own scriptures. So, similarly, there are also many scriptures, and every scripture tells us certain things, spells out these do's and don'ts, what to do, what not to do, how to proceed, so many things. Now, what is the utility of these scriptures? As we discussed, that every religion has its own scriptures. So many books in many forms have been written. So, what is the utility of these scriptures? Why should we read these scriptures? Okay, the scriptures have been there since many years. We say that the Bhagavad Gita was written maybe more than 2000 years back. As the historians say, it might be around from, 500 BC, around to 50 BC. And during this period, perhaps it might have been written. Well, um, that is so far as how old a scripture is. Then why should we read a scripture like this? So old. Well, scriptures, in my knowledge, scriptures are to be read so that we can sublimate ourselves, we can raise ourselves, we can see that our personality is raised to a certain height, more than where we are now. And when we say it will sublimate us, it will raise us to a higher level. What that higher level is? You see, that higher level is about relinquishing the ego. Relinquishing the ego. Whatever we do, whatever our position is, and wherever we are just concerned about ourselves, and it is too much centered around us. If I say I'm a man, then I will say I hold this position. Maybe I am a government official. Maybe I am a businessman. Maybe I am an entrepreneur. And then this is my family. This is my job. This is my house. So almost everything we do, there is an attachment with the ego. This ego. And many of us, in every religion, in every scripture, particularly in our scriptures, the Hindu scriptures, this ego, aham, this sense of ego, this sense of aham is very dangerous. It segregates. From whom? From the divine source. From the source from where we have come. So we are separated from the source. And this ego is a separative consciousness. This separates us from him. If you believe we have come from him, so far so good. And one has to believe this also. Otherwise, there is no need to read scriptures. If we don't believe on a superpower, God, or in whatever form, or whatever name we call him, then perhaps the discussion is meaningless. No need to discuss this. So this ego separates us from the source. We are born divine. There is a divine spark amongst us. And we are all his children. In almost all the religions, they pronounce that. Then what is the problem? What is the problem? The problem is ego. The ego, creates a gap, a big hyphen between him and us. So we are drifted apart from the source. And these scriptures help us to desert ego, or to see that ego deserts us. In either way, the same thing happens. And so that when the ego is gone, we become a different personality. Now what happens? Whatever we do, there is a secret agenda. And that secret agenda is me, I, my family, my home, so on and so forth. But when the ego goes out, it goes away. It is not there. So we are close to the divine. And that is what a sublimated personality is. A raised personality is. And scriptures do that duty, do that job. They help us from, this egoistic works which we are doing right now. They liberate us and make us aware. Of course, we are aware of ego, but somewhere deep within us, it lurks, it wriggles. We know that ego is bad, but whenever anything we do, it creeps in, pollutes everything, poisons everything. So it must be eliminated in full. It must go in full. We are aware of ego. Of course, to be aware or to be conscious of ego is the first step to do away with it. But the next step, our works, our thoughts, our actions, everything must be in sync with an egolessness state. An egoless state. Sometimes that normally doesn't happen, but the scriptures, they help us to do that. As I said, there are many scriptures. Let us concentrate in our Hindu society. There are many scriptures available, and every scripture claims to be full, self sufficient, and there have been arguments and counter arguments also. The writer of a certain scripture, he says that this scripture is the best. If you follow other scriptures, perhaps they don't serve the purpose. Only these scriptures serve the purpose. Now, apart from that, this our present text on which we are concentrating right now, the Bhagavad Gita, there have been many interpretations of the Bhagavad Gita. You can use any electronic gadget, go through the YouTube, and just everything is just a click away, and you get hundreds of interpretations, bhashya, about the Bhagavad Gita. Many people have discussed in their own ways, and every interpretation differs from the other interpretation. And the interpreter claims that this particular interpretation is the best. No interpretation can match with this. This is the best interpretation. Not only that, as I said, for arguments and counter arguments, these things are used. Well, that is one side of the story. The other side of the story is, sometimes we read the Bhagavad Gita. If, suppose for example, if I am a speaker, I am invited to different places to give speeches. To substantiate what I say, I just quote some lines from the Bhagavad Gita and show my erudition, my learning there. And in between, I put those lines, I speak those lines so that my speech will be emphatic. Is that the intention with which we are approaching the Bhagavad Gita? If that is the case, then perhaps our reading of the Bhagavad Gita is not, worthy enough. No. For what purpose we are reading a scripture like the Bhagavad Gita? You see, the Bhagavad Gita is a part of the Vedanta Darsana. In Hindu parlance, we have 6 darsanas, Shadadarsan, 6 philosophies. 6 philosophies. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, and Vedanta. These are the 6 darshans under which the great mansion Hinduism is based. These are the 6 pillars, Shadadarsan. And this Vedanta Darshan, or the Vedanta philosophy, it has 3 limbs. One is the Upanishads, second one Brahma Sutra, and the third one is the Bhagavad Gita. these darsanas, the philosophies, maybe our philosophy, maybe Western philosophy, maybe whatever philosophy that the world is flooded with, all the philosophies, they have only one purpose: to unravel the truth, to get to the truth. Not only the philosophies, the pure science has the same intention, the quest for truth. Your philosophy, your literature, your pure science, everything, they have one thing in common, and that is the goal and purpose. And the goal and purpose is to find out the truth, to quest for truth. But sometimes what we do, suppose we are going on a quest, and if we get something, we think it as the whole. Perhaps it is the only truth and the rest are lies. That old story we might have heard. The four blind people, they went to feel how the elephant is. And one who, held the leg, one leg of the elephant, he said, elephant is like a pole. Somebody caught hold of its tail. And he said, no, the elephant was like a rope. So on and so forth. That is not the concrete thing. So we must be very clear about what we are doing, and when we are approaching a particular scripture, we must be very sure what we really want and need. I think we will continue this in the next episode.